Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving headfirst into the world of financial freedom. Figuring out how to make your money work for you, even if you're not, rolling in dough.
Always a hot topic. Everyone wants to feel financially secure.
Exactly. And we're going to unpack some seriously potent advice from a book that's helped tons of Aussies get their finances sorted. It's called The Barefoot Investor.
Heard of it. Sounds promising.
Oh, it's packed with wisdom. But here's the kicker. The inspiration for this whole deep dive. It came from the most unlikely source. Alpacas.
Alpacas. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How did you go from financial advice to those fluffy creatures?
So picture this. My wife and I, we were looking after these two alpacas, Alberto and Pedro we call them, when a bushfire ripped through our area.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
It was devastating. We lost our home, everything. But in the midst of all that chaos, Alberto and Pedro, they were absolute heroes. They were guarding this flock of sheep, and they protected them fiercely, even though they were injured themselves.
Wow, that's powerful.
Their commitment, their resilience, even in the face of disaster, it really hit me hard. And it got me thinking about our own financial lives.
I can see the connection, facing challenges head on, protecting what's important.
Exactly. It's about developing what I like to call the alpaca attitude towards money. Making tough choices, taking responsibility, and staying laser-focused on your long-term goals, even when things get rough.
It's that grit, that determination that helps you weather any storm.
Exactly. It's not about deprivation or anything. It's about making conscious choices with your money, aligning your spending with what truly matters to you.
Like those alpacas protecting their precious flock.
Precisely. And that brings us to the first gem from the Barefoot Investor, Barefoot Date Nights.
Date nights. Okay, I gotta hear more about this. We talking about romantic candlelit spreadsheets or something.
Not quite, although I guess a good budget can spark some excitement. But no, this is about carving out regular time with your partner, ideally once a month, to chat about finances in a relaxed setting.
I like it. No stuffy boardrooms, just good food, maybe a glass of wine, and some open communication about money goals.
Exactly. Turns those potentially stressful money talks into something enjoyable.
Smart. Because let's face it, finances can be a major source of tension in relationships. Making it a regular positive experience could really help.
Huge difference. And get this, the book features this woman, April Mack. Using this method, she paid down her mortgage, saved for renovations, took her family on vacation, and started investing, all while on maternity leave.
Seriously? That's amazing.
All within 12 months.
Yeah.
It's proof that consistent focus and open communication can make a real difference.
So we've got the alpaca attitude, and we're scheduling those money dates. What's next on our path to financial freedom?
Let's talk barefoot banking. The book highlights a sneaky little drain on our finances. Bank fees.
Oh, I know those all too well. They creep up on you.
Those tiny charges can literally siphon thousands of dollars from your account over time, without you even realizing it. It's crazy.
Easy to overlook those small amounts, but yeah, over the years it adds up.
Big time. The book suggests setting up 3 separate accounts. Your everyday spending account, a high-interest savings account. The book calls it your smile account.
I like that. Makes saving feel a bit more, well, joyful.
And then a fire extinguisher account for those unexpected emergencies.
Makes sense. Having that visual separation, knowing exactly what each account is for, it can really help you resist those impulse buys.
For sure. And, of course, always got to shop around for the best deals. Personally, I use ING and Eubank. Low fees, decent interest rates.
Yeah, it's crucial to do your research and find what works best for your needs. Not all banks are created equal, right?
Absolutely. All right, so we're spending mindfully, banking like pros. What about building some serious long-term wealth? That's where superannuation comes in, what the book calls our golden ticket to becoming investors.
Super, a powerful tool. The tax benefits alone are a huge incentive.
Huge. And it's designed to help us build a comfy retirement. The book breaks down the benefits. Super's protected from bankruptcy, it has the potential for serious growth, and those tax benefits. Can't beat them. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
You got to make sure you're not being eaten alive by fees. There's a story in the book about Frank from Bendigo. Paid outrageous fees to his super fund for years without even knowing it.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt. All those potential gains just disappearing.
Talk about a missed opportunity. So the book recommends 2 things. First, choose a low-cost super fund. And second, crank up those contributions to 52% of your pre-tax income.
Okay, 15% sounds like a big chunk, especially when you're juggling bills and everyday expenses.
I know, it seems like a lot. But trust me, the long-term impact is massive. Imagine this, someone earning, say, $70,000 a year. That extra 5.5% contribution could mean an extra $400,000 or even more by the time they retire.
Whoa, that's a serious chunk of change.
And let's not forget the government co-contribution scheme. If you're a low-income earner or a stay-at-home parent, the government will actually match your contributions up to a certain limit.
Free money from the government to boost your retirement savings. Can't say no to that.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got the foundation sorted. Smart banking, supercharged super. Ready for the fun part?
Always up for the fun part. Hit me.
Living like a multimillionaire without actually being one. The book calls this conscious spending. It's all about understanding the difference between what we truly need and what we just want. Like the author tells this powerful story, he lost everything in a fire. And he realized that happiness, it doesn't come from stuff.
It's so easy to fall into that trap, thinking the next purchase will make you happy. But it's fleeting.
It's so true. The book calls it achieving barefoot rich status, investing in things that genuinely enhance your life. A comfy mattress for a good night's sleep, a reliable used car, prioritizing experiences over material things. Think about it. Would you rather have the latest gadget or a fantastic weekend getaway with loved ones? Which one creates a lasting memory?
The memories, definitely. It's about choosing quality over quantity. Experiences over stuff that just ends up gathering dust.
Exactly. And the book gives practical advice on how to put this into practice, making conscious decisions about where your money goes, aligning your spending with your values, and, being aware of all those marketing messages that are constantly telling us to buy, buy, buy.
Yeah, it's a constant battle against those ads. But if you're armed with the right mindset, you can make choices that bring real fulfillment, not just a temporary buzz from a new purchase.
Right. Now let's tackle the dreaded D word, debt. The book is pretty straight up about it. Compares credit cards to financial fires that need to be extinguished ASAP.
Debt can really weigh you down, holds you back from reaching your goals.
No doubt. The book introduces this cool method called debt dominoes. You list all your debts, negotiate lower interest rates whenever you can, and then you systematically knock them down one by one, starting with the smallest.
I love that. Each small win gives you momentum. Like a game, almost. Every debt conquered is another domino falling, bringing you closer to freedom.
It's brilliant, right? The book features this woman, Lauren Marks, who used this method to wipe out her credit card debt. She describes it as a game, and each small victory fueled her determination.
Such a great example of how mindset can play a huge role. Even mountains of debt can be overcome with the right approach.
Absolutely. Okay, we're building momentum here. Conscious spending, tackling debt. What about the big dream? Owning a home.
A dream for many. But with the current market, it can feel pretty out of reach.
The book acknowledges the challenges, but it emphasizes that homeownership is still a worthwhile goal. It debunks those common myths like waiting for a crash or buying an investment property first.
Right. Those strategies can backfire. And the idea that rent is dead money, that's a misconception. Rent covers a basic need, shelter. Saving for a home is a focused investment.
Exactly. The book advocates for a disciplined approach. It lays out a 20-month plan to save for a deposit. I know 20 months can seem daunting, but...
Yeah, but if you break it down, it becomes more manageable.
Right. Let's say the average home price in your city is around, $700,000. You're aiming for a 20% deposit. You'd need to save about $7,000 a month.
Okay, yeah, that's a significant chunk.
It is. But with focus and consistency, it's doable. And the book shares stories of people who've done it. Like Karen, a single mom who achieved her homeownership dream by following these steps.
Inspiring. Proof that it's achievable with the right mindset and a solid plan. Okay, so we're debt-free homeowners. What's next on this financial freedom journey?
Stepping into the world of investing. It can seem kind of intimidating, all that jargon. But the book breaks it down, makes it accessible for everyone.
There's this myth that investing is only for the wealthy or the experts. But the Barefoot Investor really demystifies it.
Totally. It highlights the power of long-term, consistent investing, even with small amounts. There's this character in the book, Pauline. She represents those typical fears people have about investing. And through her story, the author addresses those anxieties and shows that it doesn't have to be risky or complicated.
I like that. It makes it feel relatable. Like, hey, if Pauline can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly. What's interesting is, while the book is pro-investing, it's surprisingly cautious about property.
Oh, that's unexpected.
The author acknowledges that property has been a great investment in the past, but warns against over-leveraging in the current market, especially with rising interest rates. He even calls out what he calls postcode pavos,
Postcode pavos. Never heard that one before.
people who stretch themselves thin to live in those fancy suburbs, sacrificing their financial freedom and well-being just to keep up appearances.
Ah, the old keeping up with the Joneses trap. It's a recipe for disaster.
It's about defining wealth on your own terms, focusing on building a fulfilling life that aligns with your values, not chasing some image of success that might not be sustainable or even desirable in the long run.
Well said. It's about finding contentment and joy in what you have, not constantly striving for more, more, more. Speaking of long-term goals, let's circle back to that Donald Bradman retirement strategy. The name alone piqued my curiosity.
Ah, yes. The Don. It's all about aiming for longevity, just like his legendary batting average. This strategy focuses on building a retirement plan that can last, potentially, even up to 100 years.
Wow, okay. That's thinking long-term.
Right. It's about challenging those traditional retirement timelines and planning for a long, active life after your main career. And the key, the three-bucket system. Mojo, Grow, and the age pension. Remember the Mojo bucket? It's your short-term safety net for those unexpected expenses or, just those little splurges that bring you joy.
Got it. Keeps you from dipping into those long-term investments when something unexpected pops up.
Exactly. And then there's the Grow bucket. This is where the bulk of your retirement savings are invested in shares or share funds. The goal, long-term growth, keeps your nest egg growing even after you've stopped working.
So your money's working for you, even in retirement.
Precisely. And lastly, the age pension. The safety net that provides a baseline level of income, guarantees you've got something coming in, even if your investments have a bit of a wobble.
Smart. Combines personal responsibility with the social safety net.
Exactly. The book even sets target retirement numbers to aim for. $250,000 for couples and $170,000 for singles, in addition to, owning your home outright.
Good benchmarks. But of course, everyone's situation is different.
Oh, absolutely. Lifestyle, health, all those things factor in. It's about creating a plan that's tailored to you. And while building a solid financial foundation is crucial, the book also emphasizes the importance of, not actually retiring.
The never retire philosophy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The author challenges that traditional view of retirement as a complete withdrawal from work. He suggests finding purpose in activities you enjoy, things that might even generate a bit of income, keeping active, engaged.
I like that. Retirement doesn't have to be an end. It can be a new beginning, filled with possibilities.
Exactly. And speaking of making a difference, we can't forget about giving back. It's not all about accumulating wealth. It's about using your resources to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. True wealth goes beyond your bank account. It's about leaving a positive mark on the world.
And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore the concept of building a legacy, giving back, and how we can use our financial freedom to make a real difference. Stay tuned.
Back again for more Barefoot Investor wisdom. You know those alpacas from your story? They really stuck with me. Amazing how a simple anecdote can capture a whole philosophy of financial resilience.
It is, isn't it? Life lessons pop up in the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
But yeah, those alpacas really drove home the importance of, focus, resilience, especially when it comes to our money.
Absolutely. And it ties in perfectly with that conscious spending idea.
Huh.
Making deliberate choices, not letting your money just slip away on things that don't really matter.
The author calls it bucketing, right? Dividing your money into different accounts for different things, like one for bills, one for guilt-free spending, another for those long-term goals.
Exactly. Gives you control over your cash flow. And he's big on automating those buckets, setting up automatic transfers so a portion of your income goes straight into savings or investments each month.
Smart. Takes the guesswork out. You're consistently working towards your goals, even if it's just little bits at a time.
Make saving a habit, a non-negotiable part of your routine. In the book, it kind of challenges some of that traditional thinking about debt. He's especially critical of credit cards, calls them financial fires.
Oh, yeah. He's not a fan. Sees them as a slippery slope, right?
Right.
Leading to a cycle of debt. Those interest rates, killer. You end up paying way more than you borrowed in the first place.
It's a valid point. Credit's so easy to get these days, marketed as a solution when it can actually be a big problem.
And those buy now, pay later schemes. Just another form of debt, really, disguised as convenience.
True, they play on that instant gratification thing, make it so easy to overspend without realizing the consequences.
Exactly. And the book stresses that good money habits start early. He's all about teaching kids about money from a young age.
So important. Financial literacy is a crucial life skill. The earlier, the better.
He suggests some fun ways to do it, like using jars labeled splurge, smile, and give, teaches kids about saving, spending, and, the importance of giving back.
Love that. Simple but effective. Makes those concepts tangible for kids.
And he encourages parents to be open about their finances with their kids, not in a stressful way, but in a way that normalizes it,
Mm.
takes the mystery out of money.
Lead by example. Create a healthy, open dialogue about finances within the family.
And speaking of setting an example, the book talks about finding fulfillment in your career. It's not just about the paycheck. It's about aligning your work with your passions, your values.
Powerful stuff. Work shouldn't just be a means to an end. When you find something that resonates with you, it contributes to your well-being, your sense of purpose.
He calls it career compounding. Investing an hour a week in learning new skills or exploring opportunities that could boost your earning potential, or even lead to a career shift that aligns better with, what you really love.
Love that analogy. Applying the principles of compound interest to your career. Small, consistent investments over time lead to big rewards down the line.
And for those dreaming of starting their own business, there's a strategy for that too. Swinging on the trapeze, build a solid foundation for your new venture while you still get the security of your current job.
Smart. Mitigates the risk. Gives you that safety net while you're getting things off the ground.
It's about taking calculated risks, being strategic, not just jumping into the unknown without a plan. Okay, let's shift gears to investing. It can seem intimidating, but the book emphasizes that anyone can become an investor.
Right. There's this perception that investing is only for the wealthy or the financial gurus. The book does a great job of breaking that down, making it accessible.
Totally. Focuses on the power of long-term, consistent investing. Even small amounts add up over time. He introduces this character, Pauline, represents those common fears people have about investing. Through her story, he tackles those anxieties head-on and shows that it doesn't have to be scary or complicated.
Makes it relatable. If Pauline can do it, anyone can.
And what's interesting is while he's pro-investing, he takes a surprisingly cautious approach to property.
Oh, that's unexpected.
He acknowledges that property's been a fantastic investment for many in the past, but warns against over-leveraging in today's market, especially with interest rates going up.
Makes sense. Got to be aware of the risks involved, no matter what you're investing in.
He's especially critical of what he calls postcode pavos, people who overextend themselves just to live in those fancy suburbs, sacrificing their financial freedom and, their well-being.
Postcode Pavos, that's a good one. Highlights the danger of keeping up with the Joneses, comparing yourself to others, making decisions based on external validation rather than what truly matters to you.
It's about defining wealth on your own terms,
Yeah.
building a life that's fulfilling, that aligns with your values, not chasing some external image of success that might not be sustainable.
It's about finding contentment in what you have, rather than always wanting more, more, more. Okay, let's revisit that Donald Bradman retirement strategy. I'm really curious to unpack that.
It's about longevity. Just like the Don's legendary batting average, building a retirement plan that can last potentially even up to 100 years.
Wow, okay, that's ambitious, but also inspiring. Challenges us to think beyond those traditional retirement timelines.
Exactly. And the key is the three-bucket system: Mojo, Grow, and the age pension. We've already talked about Mojo, that short-term safety net. Important to have that readily accessible cash within your super, for peace of mind.
So you're not tempted to dip into your long-term investments when those unexpected costs pop up.
Right. Then there's Grow, where the bulk of your retirement savings are invested. Shares or share funds. The goal, long-term growth, making sure that nest egg keeps growing.
So your money's working for you even when you're not.
And of course, we can't forget the age pension, the safety net, providing that baseline level of income. Ensures you've got something coming in, regardless of market fluctuations.
It's a well-rounded approach, combines personal responsibility with that social safety net.
Exactly. The book suggests aiming for a retirement number of like $250,000 for couples and $170,000 for singles, on top of, owning your home outright.
Good benchmarks.
Right.
But yeah, individual circumstances vary.
Absolutely. Lifestyle, health, travel plans, all those things play a role. It's about tailoring a plan that fits you. And while financial security is key for a fulfilling retirement, the book also emphasizes the importance of, not actually retiring.
The never retire philosophy.
He challenges that traditional view of retirement as a complete departure from work. Advocates for finding purpose in activities you enjoy, maybe even something that generates a bit of income. Staying active, engaged.
I love that. Retirement as a new chapter, not an ending.
And speaking of making a difference, can't overlook giving back. It's not just about accumulating wealth. It's about using your resources to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. True wealth goes beyond your bank account. It's about contributing to something bigger than yourself.
And that's where we'll pick up in the final part of our deep dive into the Barefoot Investor. We'll explore the concept of legacy, giving back, and how we can use our financial freedom to make a real difference. And we're back for the final part of our Barefoot Investor deep dive. As we wrap this up, I'm really struck by how the book manages to be both practical and inspiring. It's not just about the numbers, it's about creating a life with purpose, a life of abundance.
It is refreshing, goes beyond the usual financial advice, gets into the deeper meaning of wealth, aligning your money with your values.
Exactly. And one of the biggest takeaways for me, it's about taking action. It's not enough to just read about these strategies. We got to actually do something with them.
Absolutely. Knowledge without action. It's like a seed that never gets planted. The book gives us the tools, but it's up to us to use them to make things happen.
And it lays out a clear path, setting up those separate bank accounts, creating a budget, automating savings, tackling debt, breaks it down into steps you can actually take.
It's like having a personal financial coach in your pocket. But what I really appreciate is that it doesn't just focus on, the technical stuff. It also addresses the emotional side of money, encourages you to develop a healthier relationship with it.
So important. Money can be such a source of stress for people. The book gives you strategies to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from fear to feeling empowered.
Recognizing that your thoughts about money can either hold you back or propel you forward. Cultivate a positive mindset, and it can transform your whole financial outlook.
And it emphasizes the long game, shifting your focus from instant gratification to building sustainable wealth. That's where compound interest really comes into play.
The magic of compound interest. It's incredible. Shows the power of patience, consistency. Small, regular investments can grow exponentially over time. It's like a snowball effect.
He explains it brilliantly.
Yeah.
He uses real-life examples to show its potential. It's a reminder that time is on your side when it comes to building wealth.
Absolutely. But while the book encourages us to build a secure future, it also reminds us that true wealth goes beyond just our own personal gain. It's about making a positive impact on the world, leaving a legacy that matters.
Which brings us to that final piece. Building a legacy that goes beyond ourselves. Thinking about what we want to be remembered for. Not just our financial success, but the impact we have on others.
It's a powerful shift in perspective, recognizing that true wealth isn't about what you own, it's about what you contribute, leaving a positive mark on the world.
And he shares these inspiring stories of everyday people who are doing just that. Like Helen Brown, who started a nonprofit that's transforming lives in a village in Uganda. And Anthony, a veteran who's built a business that supports wounded soldiers, giving back to the community that's given him so much.
Amazing examples of how you can align your financial resources with your values to make a real difference.
And he highlights Kiva, a micro-lending platform, a way for everyday people to contribute to positive change. You can make small loans to entrepreneurs in developing countries, helping them build businesses, lift themselves out of poverty.
It's a great way to use your money to make a tangible difference in people's lives. Even small contributions can have a ripple effect.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the Barefoot Investor, I'm feeling really energized. This book has given us the tools, the stories, the roadmap to create a life of purpose and abundance. What more could you ask for?
It's been a fantastic journey exploring these ideas. From those resilient alpacas to the power of compound interest, the importance of conscious spending, and the call to build a legacy that goes beyond ourselves. It's all about changing your relationship with money and ultimately changing your life.
We've learned how to set up our finances for success, make smart investments, plan for a fulfilling retirement, and most importantly, use our resources to make a positive impact.
So the question is, what will you do with all this?
That's the challenge. Take this information, apply it to your own life, and see what you can achieve. Remember, the path to financial freedom and a life of purpose. It starts with a single step.
So take that step, embrace the alpaca attitude, take control of your finances, and start building a brighter future for yourself and the world around you.
That's it for this deep dive, folks.
Thanks for joining us.